Welcome to the Above and Below podcast, a show where above average guys with below average intelligence talk about everything nerdy, geeky, and otherwise. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the unknown as four dudes work to understand their place in the vast expanse of the universe. So sit back, spark up a hookah, grab a beer, and enjoy. I'm Bobby.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad.
Steven.
And this is Tony.
So, how was your guys' week?
It's actually been pretty good. The new Elden Ring game came out. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, us Xbox users have been unable to go online, which really sucks. But I know that you two have been playing a lot of it. So hit me up. How's it been?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Honestly, it's literally just Dark Souls 4, and that's kind of everything I wanted it to be.
God.
No, it's very smooth. The gameplay is very well done. The visuals, oh my god, the visuals in that game are just beautiful, honestly. Yeah, it's just a ton of fun. I've died probably 700 times already. So Dark Souls.
So, I remember when this game was first announced, and I was so hyped for it. It looked so... There was no gameplay, nothing. It was just a trailer. But the creator of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro was all a part of it. And George R. R. Martin helped with a little bit of the story. And I love Game of Thrones too. So everything just tied together perfectly. And then it died. So for 3 years, I sat waiting. And then finally, this year, they started announcing like, hey, it's real. It's coming this year probably. And it's here. And I've been loving it. It plays just like Dark Souls 4, but you can jump and there's a fucking horse. And the horse has been just a great experience. You can't use it in multiplayer though, which has kind of been a buzzkill because some of the bosses require you to be on a horse. And it doesn't require it, but it's easier if you can run faster than the boss and still deal damage.
But just imagine like a group of 4 people just running at any random, like either small knight or big boss and like horseback.
A cavalry charge? Fuck yeah!
Yeah, it's the cavalry charge from Lord of the Rings at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields.
Except, except only 4 and not as epic. And you guys will probably die to the boss even on horseback.
So I was excited for Elden Ring. Cause I didn't know anything about it. I just knew from the creators of Dark Souls gives this new game. And then I got it and I booted it up and I'm just like, oh, I'm just playing Dark Souls 4. I thought this would be more. Oh, they gave us a horse. Fantastic.
It came from Software. Did you really think it was going to be different?
Well, they didn't have to reinvent the wheel on Game of the Year.
I'm just saying.
It's going to get Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm willing to put my balls on the table and nail them to it if it doesn't.
I bet God of War Ragnarok takes it. Fuck you.
I'm just saying, that's for the record. We heard that. So if it doesn't get Game of the Year, you are nailing your balls to this table.
Okay. All right. Let it be known.
You heard it here first, folks.
It's going to be a very interesting weekend.
We'll do it while we record too.
Yeah. Just
a hammer.
As we all calmly talk around the pain. But don't worry, Bobby. Bobby's just doing what he said he was going to do.
Oh, I'm nervous now. I forgot about Ragnarok coming out.
Is it a game?
Yes, God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. I don't know why when you guys said Ragnarok, I thought Thor. I'm like, that movie exists. Are they making a movie?
Well, Thor's in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait to kill Thor.
A little bit of a chunkier Thor, but like Thor from Endgame, really.
But that's
the accurate Thor.
It's such a cool Thor, though. I loved Thor. And like whenever you saw him in the original God of War is such a good fucking series too. Honest to God.
Honest to God of War.
That wasn't
now we're
You need to leave.
All right, bye. I'm out.
Anyway, so now we're down to 3 people. I hope you continue to enjoy our podcast.
But Elden Ring has been super fun. I'm fully expectant. I fully expect to just only be playing that for the next few months. I've been playing a lot of other games. Dying Light. I recently got back into Monster Hunter World, and I've been fucking hating it.
The Kieran is great.
The Kieran is a bullshit boss. Not boss. Monster to Elder Dragon. The horse is a dragon.
Lightning horse dragon.
Lightning horse dragon with hooves that can climb vertically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Skyrim horsing it then.
Yeah, but more bullshit. If my horse had lightning columns and just random lightning strikes, Skyrim would have been easy mode.
Bobby's having trouble with My Little Pony.
Yeah, no, but I've seen you guys like play a little bit. It does look a lot of fun when playing with friends. The different classes you can pick, I still can't pick between one of them. I'm stuck between the samurai, the prisoner, and I don't know which one. They all look really cool.
You want a bit of advice?
You have to go with the naked guy.
No, I'm not that masochistic. I didn't have a lot of fun playing Dark Souls 3. To be fair, I didn't play a lot of it, and it's my first Dark Souls game. But this one seems just a little bit more maneuverable, which I kind of like.
You would be wrong.
No, I've seen you jump. That's already more maneuvering than I've had in Dark Souls 3.
In terms of classes, as they don't really affect your end game result, it's more about the starting gear you want and the things you want to pick up first. So, like, you want to do magic, sorcerer.
Right.
If you want to be a tanky dude, you can pick anything with strength. But, like...
Where do the prisoners sit?
Faith, right?
I think they're actually a little bit of a mixture
Or intelligence.
of intelligence and faith, if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and they do
character.
dexterity. They
Okay.
just look cool.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I really like their masks, but that's just kind of my thing. So it's between them, samurai. I think it's the warrior class, the hero,
warrior.
or whatever the fuck they're called.
Honestly,
Hero's tanky, warrior is more quality build. So you can invest into pretty much dexterity and strength.
See, I'm a basic bitch, so I'm gonna just pick the warrior and use a long sword the whole time, and then I'll probably never even use that stupid horse.
you know, it's funny though.
You're saying that now, but whenever you got to rut, that map is much. So the map looks so small on the map screen, right? We haven't done much exploring, but it looks so small. But running to an area and you're like, oh man, I have to be at least like halfway there, and you open up the map and you're not even a quarter of the way there. You've been running for like 5 minutes. It's like,
So you were playing Walking Simulator.
no, that's Death Stranding.
Oh, no, every once in a while we get to roll, and then we get to fight, a bird that's just way too strong, kills me in 2 hits, and then I have to walk the whole way fucking back.
So,
Oh, great game.
so
Great, fantastic.
No, here's the thing that you're missing. You get a fucking horse.
Is it really a horse? It has horns.
It's a Hans.
It's called a mount. Whatever.
It's a Hans.
It's a Hans.
It's a Hans.
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 It's a hunch.
No, I mean the game looks really fun. I know I'm gonna hate it, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. People say it's a rewarding game, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it leans a little bit more to the bullshit area, but I get the concept. Like, I don't need flamed here because Dark Souls is hard to get good. I understand the concept of the game. It's just really annoying getting to get good.
I mean, but Dark Souls is a hard game. Just get good.
Man, if I wanted to struggle
All
through
right,
something,
I'm choking you out. That's it.
if I wanted to struggle through something that's just absolutely horrible, I would just put down my game and just enjoy my regular life.
Has a kidney stone
Or just play any multiplayer in ranked mode, like Halo Infinite.
or League.
Yeah, to be fair, we haven't had much fun with our recent gaming sessions.
Can't say.
Because we just get shit on or something. And I'm fine with getting shit on by NPCs.
Sure.
At least I know it's not some 12-year-old kid on the other end.
I kind of half agree with you there, but the problem is when you're dealing with Jack Knight #1 and he's kicking your ass, and I'm just like, okay, can we have a little bit of more scaling or less damage scaling here? Like I just want to be able to play this game.
Is there an easy mode for us filthy casuals?
No.
Unfortunately, there's not.
Have you ever...
I feel like Dark Souls is like speed running light. It's like somebody's trying, how whenever you speed run, you have to replay the level repeatedly just so that you
No,
learn.
how do speedruns work? Please explain to me how speedruns work.
So anyway, you play the level repeatedly so that you have to learn all the little things that pop out at you, and then you can get around things quicker. It's like that, but it's like a light version of that for casual gamers, kind of. Because, I mean, beating a boss in Dark Souls is just learning its maneuvers. So
Right. The bosses. And I understand the boss aspect of it, because even just playing the first boss in Dark Souls 3, it kicked my ass 4 times, and so I was like, okay, this is what I gotta do. And then I got it. And I felt the reward. I'm like, yeah, I did it. Go to the main area. Now I gotta go to the walls of Winterfuck. And I start getting shit on by random knights.
The Walls of Lothric.
that game had a weirdly hard boss that I had the most trouble with.
Ooh.
And it's not a Dark Souls game. Okay, so Have you ever played the Mega Man Battle Network games for the Game Boy Advance?
Yes. Yes, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
that's
The
a
very
match.
last boss of Battle Network 4 is Base, and that motherfucker is just ridiculous. Got 2,000 health, all the moves in the world, and it took me like 6 days of just banging my fucking head off of a wall.
So you say 6 days. My worst Souls experience didn't come from a Soulsborne game. It came from Sekiro, which is pretty much that, but ninjas. So the final two bosses, it's called the Demon of Hatred, and it's just this giant gorilla fuck.
Sounds spicy.
Let me tell you, it took me like a week. I put this game down for a month. I had no trouble with any of the other bosses. It was just fun. And then I got there. I beat it. My mom was on the phone with somebody, and I just started fucking. I was like, yeah! Screaming, fist pumping. And then I had to go fight the final boss. And then that took me a while.
That wasn't the final boss.
No, the Demon of Hatred is an optional boss, but I pride myself on
no.
killing everything that I possibly can in my first run through, so I can say that I've killed everything. And holy fuck. You know how they talk about the rewarding like feeling you get? I didn't feel any reward. I haven't touched that game since. I love Sekiro. I loved it, and I've been wanting to get back into it because there's been a lot of updates.
But
Man, all my energy went into those last two bosses. Like,
and you know what? That's the problem. That is my problem with Dark Souls 3 and a bullshit Knight number 1. I literally just named him Knight of Fuck You. Because I was like, oh, Bobby, how do you fight this thing? And he's like, I'm like, it looks scary. It looks tougher than the rest of the undead I've been dealing with. You're like, okay, so you're gonna want to roll, and he's gonna do like a hit. So you put up your shield, and then you're gonna be able to hit him. All right, that makes sense. I can do that. That's simple. I roll as he's about to attack. He follows my movement. He stabs the fuck out of me. I try to put up my shield, and he just starts banging away at my fucking shield, getting rid of all my stamina, and he doesn't stop swinging. I just don't understand how you're supposed to beat that.
something else I think you'll like about Elden Ring is there's kind of a stealth mechanic to it.
I did see. I
You
saw
can
you guys
crouch.
stomping around. Yeah.
You can crouch. You can like if you get a secluded enemy, you can kill them. Go back to your bushes, hide around corners. It's really cool. It's really really cool, and I love the idea of it.
I like sneaking, like sneaky boy. I play a rogue in D&D. I'm all about that sneak.
So it's probably going to be right up your alley. Just hide in the bush, watch an enemy walk too close, stab him a couple
Yeah,
times,
until
run
you get a
back,
giant fuck on a horse
stab
that
in
you
the
can't
ass.
stab.
stab the ankles of the horse.
Tony,
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, this game's definitely not easier than the other Souls games.
I wasn't expecting it to be.
I mean, I spent probably an hour and a half this morning trying to beat one of the optional bosses.
the starter
Like
optional
the
boss.
first thing you see when you load in is a giant dude on a horse, and I couldn't beat him. Absolutely could not defeat him.
So, with that, the first main boss that is required is I couldn't fucking beat him. I was having just the worst time, and Tony and our one buddy beat him, and then it was to me, and it took us a little bit, but we did get him. This horse dude, while they were fighting him, I went and killed this horse dude my second try, and then for about half an hour, our buddy and Tony are just like, how the fuck, what the fuck? Buddy beats him, and then Tony's just grinding away at him forever. We finally join him again, and then we get him just before we came to record, actually. And, man, he needed a cigarette.
It was really bad. I haven't had a fucking like that in a while.
What was that one boss you guys were fighting last night? The dude that kept jumping with a giant stick. Whoa.
Oh, that's the first optional boss. His name is Margit. I don't know how the fuck to say
Margaret.
it. Well, no, it's Margit.
Margaret.
No, there's
Yeah, no, her name's Margaret, and she was just kicking your ass. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's Dark Souls boss.
It was definitely not a girl.
Why not?
because he had a guy's voice and he called it. He was like, ye tarnished,
Wow,
clearly warriors.
bold of you to assume.
Fair.
Man, it's just a fucking game.
No, I saw. What was it? You were hiding around the bush, and he went to attack, and you rolled off, and you died.
Man.
That was fun. And then he starts jumping back, and he jumps like real close to the edge, and the entire time he goes, "He's not gonna jump off this bridge, is he?"
Yeah, unfortunately, he's scripted to not be allowed to jump off the bridge. My dumbass rolls right off the side.
What was it? You were climbing some stalagmites or some shit off the precipice of the entire world, and I'm like, Tony, you probably shouldn't do that. I'll be fine. 2 seconds later, dead.
Did you ever think Souls games aren't just getting harder, you're just getting older? Like your cognitive function's starting to slow down, your motor skills are getting worse.
My knees.
I would say people that are probably a lot younger playing this game and dedicating 80 hours of their lives to it a week and probably are a lot better than any of us.
Oh, the sweats.
He is a guy.
Oh, did you Google it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? Okay.
Well, I guess we don't have to assume anymore.
All right, so kind of circling back to what I've been doing this week since I haven't been able to play Elden Ring. I actually finally steamrolled through the rest of Boba Fett. And by the rest of Boba Fett, I mean watched past episode 1 because I'd only watched episode 1, and I spent an entire day watching it, and it was pretty good. It was good seeing old Gramps Boba Fett not be as angry or as mean and doing good things.
Should we hit this with a spoiler warning?
Yeah, watch this shit. If not, fuck you.
Well, by the time this is posted, if you haven't watched it, it's your fault.
Or we're warning you now.
Yep, warning.
Putting it out there. We're going to be talking about some bobes.
Okay, so...
The Rancor and the giant robot fight was amazing.
Oh my god,
You
it was
mean
fantastic.
Mechagodzilla versus King Kong climbing the building?
Yeah, and screaming.
Peed my pants with just excitement. I was giddy the whole time. Like, he's riding a Rancor.
I will say the one thing, so everyone was excited and at the same time mad at Cad Bane when he came out.
Loved him.
And his face is not as blue and his mouth isn't in the right place from where it was in a cartoon. Honestly, just kind of get over it. But I'm a little disappointed that all that he basically did was like Western style walk in, fuck shit up, and then Western style walk out. That was basically all he did in the series.
But that's how you get the coolest characters. Like Boba Fett, for example. The original trilogy, Boba Fett didn't do shit, but everyone's just like, oh, this guy. This is the guy.
But the problem is in the car, like going back to the Clone Wars, like that man fucked shit up. Like
Yeah.
he did a bunch of stuff. Like I'm not saying that maybe it was just specifically that he wasn't like moving around as much because I don't think he really was, but just in general, the scope of the things that he was doing in the Clone Wars to what he did in Boba Fett, it was kind of disappointing in seeing what he didn't do.
The complaining about him, like, looking the way he does, pisses me off to no end. Because those same people complaining praise the animated Clone Wars series. Count Dooku's head in the Clone Wars was a fucking cylinder.
Right.
He
does
looked
look ridiculous.
weird. He looked weird. Who else looked off?
Dooku, wait.
Anakin's voice was completely different.
Palpatine looked weird. I mean, it was
Palpatine
a cartoon.
Yeah, it was a cartoon. And then they're complaining about his skin. Bro, he's like 70 years old.
You
They
know
have
what?
they have a normal like as far as I know, I could be wrong. They have a pretty relative life expectancy that a human does.
Right.
So as they age, like us, we get wrinkly, we just look different. He's 70, their species skin turns a pale blue. As to the bright blue that he once was.
I don't think the complaining is warranted. I think people just need to shut up complaining about random stuff.
But Ahsoka's head tentacles aren't the same length as they were in the Clone Wars.
You're cutting my truth.
You think Cad Bane, after he does his whole walkout and he shoots the guy and he shoots the other guy, he turns around and walks back, gets to his speeder and just like, Jesus Christ, my back hurts.
Well, did he
man.
come in a speeder?
No, he
Because
walked.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he walked. Like out in the distance of nothingness, this man just comes walking in the
Imagine
town.
being that, like, he's dedicated to what he's doing. He's like, man, I gotta make it.
No. He absolutely has a speeder just like over a dune somewhere. He's just like, watch, this is my grand entrance. This is going to be cool. I've been practicing this one. Slowly walks into town, gets there, fucks shit up.
This town ain't big enough for two.
He also
bang bang.
He also has rocket boots that he uses in the Clone Wars, so like maybe he used those to get there faster, but I feel like he would have utilized them in the fight against Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Rocket boots?
Yeah.
How do you fly rocket boots? That sounds horrible.
He has rockets. You know what the fuck I mean.
I mean,
It's in the future. Well,
Yeah,
or
they
in the
have
past.
laser swords. What are you gonna pick that apart?
It's in the past future,
Yeah, how do
guys.
you-
It's technology's different.
people can't even walk with untied shoes. You're telling me that this motherfucker's using rocket boots?
He's really good at
He
walking.
does them really well.
I guess 70 years would just make you good at something.
You should have seen him with his rocket walker.
That's in the later series.
It's got little
Oh, wait.
rocket tennis balls on the bottom.
Spoiler alert. He's fucking dead.
Okay, so again, people complaining about things. So in the final episode, you remember the cyberpunk dudes? So firstly with them, they were too vibrant.
Yeah.
They're too vibrant. The scene where Fennec is getting her insides changed, the music was just ridiculous. And it was like, and they all had like, they're in Tatooine, the gray, disgusting planet, and they have like dyed hair.
Help me. She's dying. She needs this operation. Here's some money. All right, cool. Montage.
To be fair, you're on a sandy asshole of a planet, right?
Yeah.
And everything's gray in that really like dull color scheme, and you want to stick out. I'm painting my little Vespa bright red too.
That's the one complaint that I think is warranted. The cyberpunk biker Vespa gang, I did not enjoy.
They just didn't fit in with the Western aspect of the series. It felt
Also,
like.
the high-speed chase on the Vespa looks slow as fuck. It's like Paul Blart Mall Cop when he's on the Segway just doing the tricks and he thinks he looks cool.
The only one cool scene out of that entire chase is when the one guy, I think he was driving the blue Vespa, rides on the building because he got cut off and he hit back on the road. Was the only cool scene of that entire part.
My headcanon is that they just couldn't go as fast as they wanted to.
They were going to hit something and die, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a bike, and they're not wearing anything protective, so, like, if they...
And there were tight corners and a bunch of shit on the road.
I'd probably be going a little slow, too.
It's exactly like the episode of Futurama where they go to the central bureaucracy and it's this big red tape cube that's just got a bunch of bureaucrats in it. And the dude's driving a slow mobile, and he's slightly off course. He corrects course so he doesn't have to hit anybody. And he goes, "Oh no, I've corrected course as to not hit you guys." And then he just slowly hits some boxes, and the boxes just shake a little bit, and then you hear him go, "Oh!" It's that.
I think another really good part of the series was, and this is just something I love about Star Wars in general, is the ships. So, seeing Luke's X-Wing bringing back Grogu to the planet, and the Mando boy getting his new ship, the N1 Starfighter, which is super cool. A Naboobian ships.
Naboobian.
The Naboobs flying ships.
We saw Asa Naboo.
It was great. Watching the Hutts, the twins.
Oh,
those were really good scenes.
Again, back to the complaining of what people do. This is going to be real quick. So, in the final episode, whenever they're escorting the Chrysanthemum out and he's wounded, and the one guy does a spin, I have never seen more people bitching about something so fucking stupid in my entire life. Star Wars has unnecessary spins all the time.
Are you talking about the
where he
techno
spins?
guy?
Yeah, and if you watch, he's dodging a fucking blaster bolt.
Yeah,
it was unnecessary.
But
it was literally one of the best memes is, "I'll try spinning. That's a neat trick." If you can watch young Anakin Skywalker be cringy at an N1 Starfighter, you can watch the guy with the cybernetic on his eye do a spin and get a kind of a cool kill.
Once again, the same people that'll complain about the spin won't complain about when they're flying away in the Millennium Falcon. I think in episode 4, they're being shot at, and his evasive maneuvers is slightly going left and up. The Family Guy joke, enter here. It was just, oh, look at those maneuvers. We can't shoot him. He's moving slightly to the left.
Watch out. He's leaning lazily to the left. How are we ever going to get him?
Like literally.
Listing
lazily
to the left.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh, and then complaining about Boba Fett's character. People don't think he's badass anymore.
He's old.
He's old, and he's not the same person he was back then. Before he was done in that Sarlacc pit, he was a ruthless guy who didn't give a fuck about anything. He didn't even care about his father's armor. It was so dated and fucked up. But the moment he got that shit back, he fixed it. He cares about people. He wants to make it like, he doesn't want to just be that fucking badass.
That's called a character arc.
Exactly.
Because he literally, all that ruthlessness and all that, got his ass whipped, thrown into a Sarlacc, lost everything, had to go live with the Tusken Raiders.
For 5 years.
Like, he literally almost died, and then maybe something in his mind snapped, oh, being a massive dick just isn't doing it for me.
I really enjoyed that time that he had with the Tusken Raiders. It was so good. I really enjoyed that. I really like the one scene where Boba Fett goes and gets all those speeders, and he's trying to teach the Tusken Raiders how to
Like a
drive.
panther.
Yeah, like a panther. And he's just kind of going like this. Everyone's like staring at him blankly through the mask. And then the one guy's like, come on, you want to try it. He goes, and backwards, and hilarity ensues. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fun.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I loved whenever he got loose and he was like, Rodian, help me. And the Rodian just rats him out of me. He's like, guys,
Guys, get away!
And then they just beat the shit out of him again, man. He went through so much struggles.
That's
in
what
that
I'm
5
saying.
years.
Like, you're right. It's character development.
It's character development.
He was stuck in a Sarlacc. He finally got out. He was out in the middle of the desert with absolutely nothing. Got taken in as a prisoner, and he evolved and he learned to care again. But no, he's not a badass anymore because he cares now.
I still think he's badass.
He's a badass.
How was he a badass in the first place? What are you like? That's the thing I never understood about Boba Fett, and like I give it to the show because they did give him some character development. They made him a person, but like, I mean, if
Comics.
you watched episode 5 and you're just like, oh yeah, the guy who stands there, oh, he's my favorite. I've never seen anybody do something cooler in this series.
To be fair, the same can be said about any character in that trilogy. It is a little dated compared to what it is like to our movies now. Darth Vader is known as one of the best villains. And what did he really, really do ruthless in the trilogy?
Choked
He
out
was-
his own guy.
He was just a cool badass in black with a red lightsaber, and we loved him.
Yeah. He's one of the greatest villains in cinematic history.
It was just a time. Although Jango Fett, I will say they wasted that man.
Yeah, I do agree. And
Jango.
yeah, he should have had so much more done with him in episode 2. I mean, his fight with Obi-Wan was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, that was a pretty badass fight. But I mean, he still kind of lost that.
And then Mace Windu in the big battle in Geonosis, was it?
Yep.
Just jumps down and decapitated. And GG, you're done.
I love the way they mirrored that in the clone the show.
Mhm.
Whenever, because the flashback, there's like maybe 3 droids on the field, and the way I took that is he only saw his dead dad. He didn't care about any of the bodies around him. Nothing. He ran out there, and all he could focus on was, oh, my dad's dead.
That'd be cool. Since Mace Windu is clearly alive, if like in like season 2, Boba Fett and Mace Windu either go at it or like they hug it out or something cool because he's totally not dead.
Two things. One, I don't think Mace Windu would let a clone off the hook, especially after Order 66. If he is alive and he saw what was happening, he'd be like, nah, these fucks is dead. Another thing, Tamora Morrison posted, I think it was on Twitter, that he would love to have a showdown with Mace Windu in season 2 to wrap things up.
Samuel L. Jackson says that Mace Windu's alive, and actors do get a little bit of freedom over their characters. That's
but-
the thing.
That's how he got his purple lightsaber.
But he's not alive in the canon yet. He's dead until proven alive.
We didn't see him die, so I'm going with the Game of Thrones method of if you didn't see it, it didn't happen.
I mean, if we've seen people come back though. We saw
Darth Maul got cut in half and fell down
half
the
and
trash
came back.
compactor.
Yeah, well, you saw him get cut in half. You didn't see him die.
right, but he came back. Whereas
You
Mace Windu-
insinuate when you get cut in half and thrown down a hole.
Just give it a minute. They're sitting on it.
Right, but he's dead until proven alive. Just like we all thought that
Palpatine was dead.
everyone was dead until they came back.
I'm just saying, if Boba Fett survives a Sarlacc, Mace Windu, the most badass Jedi possibly ever. Well, the Force lightning doesn't kill Jedis. You shut up.
I always like, this is my headcanon, that when he went to strike Palpatine at that moment,
He was stupid.
it was done in anger. No. It was in anger.
Yeah, but he was also stupid.
He switched to the dark
Why
side.
would you
He's
do-
not even a Jedi no more.
Why would you do an overarching slash? Why wouldn't you just... He's already doing this. Why doesn't he just go boom? He had to be all cinematic and he got his hand cut off and thrown out a window.
But actually, that's what made Mace Windu one of the more powerful Jedi, was because he also embraced the dark side.
But he went too far.
Well,
If you think he's alive, I think he's a Sith.
Yeah, if Mace Windu would have been like, yeah, we'll handcuff him, Anakin would have been like, yeah, because that's what Anakin only wanted him alive to get the secrets. But once he cut off his hand, it was over for him. He couldn't go to the Jedi Council and be like, guys, we were gonna kill him. But Mace Windu's hand just exploded.
Well, to be fair, Mace Windu was correct. He was too dangerous to leave alive.
But it's not the Jedi way.
He striked in anger.
For the dude who gave Anakin so much shit,
You know what?
and Ahsoka, and anybody else who had any emotional baggage, mainly Anakin, it's bullshit.
You know what else isn't the Jedi way?
Huh?
Cutting off one of your master's arms, watching him get force lightning out a window, going to kill some children. That's a nice turn for Anakin. This isn't the Jedi
Anakin
way.
has conflict.
20 minutes later, he's murdering kids.
Anakin has conflict. He has to do what he has to do to keep his wife and children alive.
Bullshit.
Well, to be fair,
Not bullshit. He's keeping his wife and children alive.
his turn was
He did
destined.
a real good job.
His turn was destined. We know that. We knew he became Darth Vader.
because the movies came out in the 80s.
Right, and they decided to make a prequels, and so they're like, all right, here's Darth Vader. I mean, what are we complaining
Tell me
about?
this. Tell me this. Your wife and child, you've been having visions of them dying, and you have, like, your visions come true. And I know for a fact you love your wife and kid.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Shut up.
Fuck them.
Okay. Well, for the sake of, being real, you do.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
I 100% believe you would murder all three of us in a heartbeat if it meant keeping them alive.
I would definitely murder Tony.
Wow.
I kind of like the other two of you.
You see, that's funny. I've actually developed a list of people who would betray me.
Have you really?
I have a list.
I better not be on that list.
Everybody in the group chat is on that list. The order of which I think you will betray me.
Oh.
And
Well, give us a little taste. I'm genuinely curious.
No,
now.
I can't because
Our sound guy is very intrigued by this.
No.
depending on where you sit, your reaction moves you up or down.
You've opened Pandora's box. Now we gotta know what's in
I'll give you a hint on where you're at. So there's 22 people in total. You were all at least in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Wait, okay.
Okay.
That's
now-
pretty funny.
Now I kind of want to be
One
number
of you are in the top 5.
One.
Only one of you.
It's Brad.
I think it's Tony.
He's betrayed me already, and we've been on this podcast for 3 episodes.
Get it, guys. It's a Star Wars episode. Betrayals.
Yeah. but yeah.
I'm absolutely a Sith. Let's go.
Yeah, me too. I love me and Bobby always go back and forth. I'm like, I really like X character. They do cool things. Bobby's like, because he's a villain. And I'm like,
yeah. Anytime you're like, hey man, I really love this character, I'm like, wait a minute. This guy's bad. Oh wow, we're all getting lightsabers. Oh, Steve got the only bad guy lightsaber. Oh, everybody has guns. Steve has AKs.
I'm just saying, for the sake of every argument, and I'm not the type of guy that gets mad when the bad guys lose, because logic dictates
They have to.
they
lose.
have to lose. So I'm never salty when my favorite character loses because it has to happen. But if there weren't really badass villains, there would be no cool stories.
Speaking of badass villains, Dooku could have saved the Republic. I'm convinced.
I would love to
I would love a
see
what
an
if
alternate
series.
reality of Star Wars.
What
I would
if-
love so much to see Star Wars just told a completely different way than what it is. Like Dooku saves the freaking Republic. Like
He wasn't. He
wouldn't
wasn't
that be
a,
insane?
He wasn't a Sith because he had to be or wanted to be. He saw the Jedi were corrupt.
Right, he didn't like the way they were
He's
going.
one of the 5. I forget what the official title is for Jedi who lead, but there's only like 5 of them, and him and Ahsoka are one of the 2.
Like, could you imagine in that scene that we're talking about where, like, Palpatine's just laying on the ground, I'm too weak, and Anakin shows up, and he's like, no, don't do it, and he's like, well, Anakin, he's clearly the bad guy, and Anakin's like, oh shit, he is, and then Anakin stabs him
See,
in the
for that
forehead.
to happen, he couldn't implant those visions. Anakin's sole character is, I love who I love, and I will save them no matter what. So Padme would have to be fine.
Well,
Right.
I mean, she was fine at that time.
Yeah, but Anakin didn't know
But the
that.
visions
Yeah, I
came
mean,
true. I
you
mean, you
know.
gotta think, it was
He
planted.
murdered a
in-
village of sand people, Tusken Raiders. My bad. Tusken Raiders. Because his mom died. I mean, I get that.
Hey,
I think anybody
remember,
would.
it wasn't just the men. It was the women and children, too.
And
Yeah.
the dogs.
Yeah,
And the dogs.
Suck your dog.
Oh, probably the poor Banthas, too.
Yeah, you imagine
Oh.
it was just like after we didn't see it, so the alternate cut, he did a Kylo Ren on like the fire pit that they had. He's just like, "Ah!"
Do you think,
In the
do you think he
fucking
had
fire.
tears in his eyes the whole time? This isn't the Jedi way.
Well, see, he recognized that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, stab.
Can we also, Padme is at fault for Anakin's turn. This guy came to confide in her, and she is much older than him. Not much older, but like a decent ways older.
Substantially.
It was creepy if they were a thing in the first movie. Less creepy in the next movie because they're both adults. But still, he comes to her and he's like, "Hey man, like you know the Jedi. It's a whole thing. I just killed a village of people,
right?
Because they did me dirty. If Padme had any sort of like sensibility to her, she would have been like, Obi-Wan, I'm really worried about Anakin. He came to me and they could have. If Mace Windu or Qui-Gon was Anakin's teacher, it would have been played out so differently. They would have taught him so much better than Obi-Wan. Not that Obi-Wan's a bad Jedi, he's not a bad master, but Anakin was a special case.
Right. It should have been handed
to Obi-Wan took him. Also, Anakin's a bitch for crying about not getting the rank of master. Obi-Wan was 26, I think, whenever he was finally considered a knight to train and then a master to train Anakin.
The unfortunate part about that is that Anakin was told since he showed up that he's like, oh, hey, you're the best Jedi to ever pretty much walk the face of the earth.
You're the chosen one.
You're the chosen one.
You can't.
You're going to be...
He needs special treatment.
Yeah,
no
so
matter how
you're
you
going
look
to
at
be
it.
the very best, and then he wasn't granted master, and he's like, what do you mean? I thought I was the very best.
He was the poster boy for the Clone Wars. He was everything.
Yeah, it was.
You know what was hilarious? When Padme came out, she's just like, she was pretending to be the handmaiden to the fake queen, and she's just like, I'm actually the queen this whole time, and the Jedi were just like, yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Like we're super advanced magic space wizards. We fucking know.
My favorite bit in the whole prequel trilogy is when Padme dies. And I've explained this to you guys before. I don't know about you, Brad. So when Anakin is like yelling at Padme and Obi-Wan's stuck on the ship and didn't tell Padme, so she didn't know how to respond to Obi-Wan standing on the ship, and Anakin just immediately starts choking her. Obi-Wan does nothing to diffuse that. He's just like,
he stands very, very at attention.
Yeah, he puts his hands on his head. He's like, let her go. And then he's like, nah. And then he's like, let her go. And he's like, okay. And then she suffocates.
Yeah, no, it was that whole scene. I remember watching that scene in it is a bootleg version where the English is just completely chopped, and they had that specific scene, and the English translation was so bad. It was hilarious watching that over. We have to watch it after, and we could probably talk about it on the next podcast. But the mistranslation in that bootleg is, mwah. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Just Google episode 3 bootleg translation. It is a ride if you haven't seen it.
It is. It really is.
Going back to the villains and how cool they are. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that they have the best ships. They have the coolest ships, the most iconic ships. It goes TIE Fighter and then X-Wing, in my opinion.
I mean, the X-Wing is technically not as good.
I mean, just think about it. Recreate the sound of a TIE Fighter and try to recreate the sound of an X-Wing flying.
That's my TIE Fighter.
Now do an X-Wing. Exactly.
I can think of the sound that their guns make.
Right. I will give them that. Their gunfire or their laser ship fire
cannons,
thing
whatever,
is more iconic, but their flying it goes to the X-Wing or it goes to the TIE Fighters.
I don't know. I still think the TIE Fighters like bullet sound is still better. Like their lasers. Really? Yeah, no, that's still, I mean, I can picture the whole TIE Fighter in my head. Like I got the whole thing. For an X-Wing, I really just have like the image of the X-Wing. Like I don't have any of the sounds.
The laser are like our best impressions of laser sound. Just like blah 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 blah. And it was, I mean, that sound sticks out to me more than the TIE Fighter's laser, but I think overall iconic, the TIE Fighter's better.
Yeah, but the TIE Fighter's like that just
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We're recreating the Starfighter for you guys.
Man, if only somebody was good at editing, you could just edit in the sounds instead of us sounding stupid.
No. They're going to hear us do blop blops and boop boop boops. We've already done dubstep earlier in the episode. We're fine.
I don't know what my favorite chip is, to be completely honest.
Really? I feel like you would have one.
I know. That's the thing. I just
hit me up with it. Just start spinning out. What are your most favorites?
I love the Republic gunships.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are awesome. I finally got a Lego set of one, and it has been fantastic. It was my favorite build to date. They're like $600. I got this one disassembled, missing a few pieces. Bought the parts, put it together, and it is just, I love it. The Republic gunship is one of my favorites. I love Republic era ships.
The Republic era ships are the best. I love the Jedi fighter.
The Aether
ships they
sprites?
had. No, not the Aether sprites. The ones that are in the intro of Episode 3 when Obi-Wan and Anakin are flying in. Those ones are just so cool, and
Those aren't the interceptors, are they?
I think they're the
I think
Jedi
they will
Interceptors.
become the interceptors, or they're designed like TIE fighters, basically, like early TIE fighters. Like Yoda's Lego ship is just a TIE bomber with an extra mouthpiece in the front. Like it's I love seeing the transition. Shuttles, the bad guy shuttle ships are my favorite. The Lambda shuttle, the what's the Upsilon, they're just iconic. They're gorgeous looking ships.
I love the Bad Batch shuttle too.
That too.
I forget the name of it, but it's
essentially one of the shuttles that it come to be one of the shuttles.
It looks like a heavily modified shuttle.
It looks like a Lambda, like an older Lambda.
Honestly, one of the biggest shames about like Episode 7, 8, and 9, and I mean, there's a lot to go into there, but like 7, 8, and 9, one of the biggest issues with those is like they never introduced a really cool ship other than the Epsilon.
A supremacy?
I mean, okay.
But
that was the cool ship.
I didn't necessarily hate, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Bobby, but the bombers that the Resistance used, were those shown prior, or are those technically ships from 7, 8, and 9? Because I can't remember seeing them before.
You said the bombers. Let me look at them all.
Yeah, like the really long bombers. You remember like Episode 8?
Oh, that was a cool ass ship. Yes.
Those are cool.
Those are so expensive.
I also like the new paint jobs on some of the X-wings, because an X-wing's iconic.
The best ship was those horse creatures they used on the outside of one of those big super carriers.
Oh yeah, the X9 when they're running on all the ships that are rising, and they get the help of the one group of people that
Native
live next
Americans
to
of the planet.
the ones that live, the ones that were like right across where the Death Star crashed, and they're like, well, we're coming too, but we're gonna bring our
weird horse
four-legged
things.
banthas, or four-legged
Like a bantha.
what's the guys that run in the snow? The
Snow speeders?
no. The
Tauntauns.
Tauntauns. They were the four-legged Tauntauns.
I love Tauntauns.
I love Tauntauns.
I love Tauntauns. I used to make the sound in the schools of in the hall of school.
Go ahead, hit us up. Putting you on the top.
Okay, so like
give us a sound.
So literally just imagine like, you're walking to class, right? It's quiet. Like just echoing. And it was just that on repeat for a long time, and then I got yelled at, so I stopped doing it.
I hear Tauntauns make great sleeping bags.
They do, in a pinch. If it must, it can. Not that you should. I think it's part of the taboo part. But if you're about to freeze to death, their insides are warm.
It's a perk. It's a feature.
It is a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a glitch.
They're like, you can go out in a speeder, you can go out in anything. I'm taking the Tauntaun. Why? Well, if I get shot down or something happens and I'm stuck in the cold, I can get inside its little warm pocket. Warm pocket? Yeah, I just cut him in half and kind of sleep in his insides for a little bit.
Fucking Han Solo. And I thought this smelled bad
The Wookiee smelled bad.
on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the Wookiee smelled. Chewie! Take a fucking shower, man!
It's funny that I think in the original trilogy, the suit that was worn, I think got wet. Oh, I think it was when they were in the trash compactor. Or it was one of the scenes where the suit physically got wet. It stunk so bad, and they just had to continue.
Speaking of terrible suits, the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Oh, yeah.
What a
It's
fucking-
There were
Terrible.
people in those doing all those stunts. And like, I remember reading a story, it's like some dude like had a heat stroke or some shit. I don't know.
we were watching it the other day, and I'm just like, man, it's got to be behind those suits. And you were like, yeah, I think there are records of a couple of these guys passing out because of what they're doing.
And then if you pause, you can see their mouth, the human mouth inside of the turtle mouth.
I see that picture all the time. I was trying to watch when we were watching it. I was trying to catch it, but I missed the scene. But yeah, you could just see him like aiming up, and you could see his face through the mouth of the turtle. It's fantastic.
Scary. That's nightmare fuel.
All right, well, guys, I think we've had a fantastic talk. You guys want to fight about bullshit?
Oh yeah.
All right.
So in the vein of Star Wars being
Yeah.
like the primary theme, we got to get into the whole, are the sequels bad? I've prepared a list.
Oh, well then by all means start us out.
Well, if anybody, I would like to do a quick read through. So if anybody wants to say their
I got
piece,
this. I got this. The sequels are fine. Okay, so 8 gets a little bit sketchy there for a minute because we all know how that turned out. It was an okay Star Wars movie. It was bad for the story that they were making. The story was bad. As a Star Wars movie, it was fantastic. I like Rey. You all can go fuck yourselves.
my problem with that is the writing. They had no set direction. You didn't have to have it set in stone.
Right.
But switching up the directors who had different visions, and I think it was Rian Johnson who came back to direct the last movie, right?
No, he directed The Last Jedi.
No, that was Kathleen Kennedy.
No, that was Rian Johnson.
Who which one did Kathleen Kennedy direct?
I don't know, but J.J. Abrams did the last one. He did the first. He did 7 and 9.
No, J.J. Abrams did 7 for sure.
And 9. He did 9 as well. He came back.
No, J.J. Abrams is the one that did the music.
No, he did Lost.
Steve, you're just so insanely wrong.
That's J.J. Abrams.
No, that's
isn't it?
John Williams.
Oh, you're right. That's John Williams.
Actually, did you hear? Sorry to sidetrack, but did you hear he's coming back for Obi-Wan?
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing the
That's gonna be
theme.
good. That's gonna be so good.
George R. Martin's gonna do the music for that.
No.
No, James. Sorry, it's John Williams.
You're thinking of
John
J.K.
Wilkes Booth.
You're thinking of J.K. Rowling.
Oh, you're right.
She's
J.K.
gonna be-
Rowling's the one that's gonna come back and do the
It's
music.
gonna be very transphobic music.
I don't know if we're fighting or so much trying to give Tony
You're
an aneurysm.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you credit.
Okay,
Goddamn.
well, I mean, it happens often, so.
So yeah, no, it's just the right. They didn't have anything like just planned out, and it was fucked. It was fucked on so many levels. Simple mistakes in the cinematography were there that just shouldn't have been there, like the famous throne room fight, where they have ample time to be stabbing Rey. You want to talk about unnecessary spinning, weapons disappearing out of guys' hands.
Yeah, okay, no, I get that, but the throne room fight was also
Pretty cool.
the coolest fight in Star Wars.
I'm gonna have to agree with Brad. That fight scene was pretty cool.
That was definitely not the coolest fight in Star Wars. Episode 3's fight was the coolest fight in Star Wars.
Yeah, dude, nothing. tops
okay,
Obi-Wan
yeah,
Nothing
versus-
tops Obi-Wan versus Anakin. I
forgot-
mean, come
I
on.
forgot them dueling over Mustafa.
But I do agree, though, that
It's
7, 8, 9 really wasn't that bad. And everybody says 7 was just a rehash of 4.
It was.
And it
was.
might have been, but that's not a bad thing. If you think about it, episode 1 was just a rehash of 4. It's all about this dude growing up on a desert planet who ends up becoming the freaking chosen one.
Was there pod racing in 4?
Episode 1 was.
So, with the rehashing, the original trilogy is a largely character-driven trilogy. Lots of focus on relationships. You can really connect with the characters. The prequel feels like high-end fantasy.
Right.
There's philosophy included. You don't focus on the characters as much because there's a lot of cool characters that are just in the background, but you focus on the main ones, and that's it. And the sequel trilogy felt like it tried to merge the two, and it just got fucked.
I will say, I will blame the fan base on why. Sorry about that. About episode 7, 8, 9. Because episode 7 came out and everyone was like, "Oh, it's a rehash of 4. This is boring. We want something different." And the writers were like, "What the fuck do we give them? Fine, they want different. We'll give them 8." And then everyone collectively shit their pants over 8. I'm going to use your argument here about The Last Airbender. 8 was okay.
Yeah.
8 was fine. 8 had some good moments.
It did. It
The
really
hold
did.
on maneuver when she split Supremacy in half, that blew my god. I'm in the theater just shitting my pants.
I've been thinking about that since I brought up ships from 7, 8, 9, because there is nothing cooler that anybody does in any starship in the entire series that's cooler than her light speeding through that ship. Like, I mean, oh my god.
I remember watching that movie on opening weekend in like a big theater in a city near us. And I just remember when that scene started happening and the moment it cut in the silence and speared, I've never seen a crowd react the way everyone reacted. It was such an audible gasp through the whole theater. Just
Right, because it pans out, it happens, the screen is completely quiet, there's no noise, everybody's just, oh.
It's a good gasp
just
moment.
like, you'll hold your breath for a second, and then it's just like, oh, that was fantastic. People started clapping. It was great.
I will say though, I absolutely hate when they're just like everyone's just kind of dying out there in the last movie in 8. Like Luke dying. I mean, I get what they were going for. I don't think he should have died.
That was George Lucas's idea.
Was it really?
He wanted to kill Luke.
I think that was one of the coolest things Luke did in the entire set of those movies, though, because like he was kind of lame up until that point, which is a shame, honestly.
But the writing of him being a bitch boy was annoying.
I do wish Luke was written way better for that whole thing. But that scene in particular, though, really, that one's a standout moment. You got Kylo in the background. More! I mean, Adam Driver was great. I mean,
Best part of the movie.
hands down.
All 3. He carried that on his back.
But they fucked him in the end.
Do you know Bobby's favorite line from all 3 of those movies? Somehow Palpatine returned.
To be fair.
Man, I'm going to say it right now. The actors were great. The visuals were great. The writing is what fucking murdered those movies. And, you know, it's implied cloning. It's Star Wars. You know, we know cloning's a huge thing. But if I have to read 3 different comics, have a multiple TV series hint as to how it's happening, it's like my thing with the Snyder Cut. If you need 4 hours to make your movie a good movie, it's not good.
It's not a good movie.
You know, I get that, but I think there's something we can all agree on.
Yeah.
The Ewoks are terrible.
No, the Ewoks
No.
are great.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
I love the fucking Ewoks.
Well, hold on. Let me retry that segment. Let me retry the close there. I think there's something we can all agree on. Jar Jar is terrible.
No, Jar Jar's great.
Wrong!
What are you
Jar
talking
Jar
about?
Binks is the best Jedi.
All
He
right.
should have turned Sith.
All right, we're going to go for a third try. I think there's something we can all agree on. Star Wars is fantastic.
No, Star Wars is fucking terrible.
All
I
right.
hate Star Wars more than the
Star
fans.
Wars sucks. No, yeah, the fan base is what kills anything. So fuck you, shitty fans. And that's my piece. We can all agree. Shitty fans ruin series.
Most definitely.
That is true.
All right, guys. I think it's a good spot to wrap up here. Thanks for joining us today. Please remember to like and subscribe. Maybe share us with your friends. And as always, have an above average day.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Have a good one.